software, branding, math, the three pillars of successful games.
Hey everyone, I'm Darryl, CEO of Wicked Games. What I wanted to cover in today's talk is software, branding and math, the three pillars of successful games. Now I'm not here to give you the formula for success per se, because if we had the actual formula for a guaranteed winning game, then everyone would use it and you'd have to change the formula. What I'm addressing here today are sort of broad brushstrokes that we use as a game provider to maximise the potential success of those games. The first one is software breeds trust. So you can see trust must be earned through reliability, and a glitch-free experience is the foundation of player confidence. Players already don't trust us. We don't need to give them a reason not to trust us. So everything needs to be perfect. If it's not absolutely glitch-free, the player's going to walk. Okay, so software, when I talk about software, I'm talking about many aspects of software, from the development, the back end, the front end, the UI experience, right down to the security of the software itself and delivering the player's expectation of actually getting paid if they win. Branding breeds familiarity. So if you have a great brand, it can be something that gives the player confidence in your brand, so that when the next time they see your game in a lobby, they're more likely to click on it. I say branding is the art of forging emotional connections. That covers everything from, well, first of all, I wanted to say what branding isn't. Branding isn't getting the latest TV show and making a game on it. That's licensing. Branding is more about projecting who you are to the player, creating an identity that the player can identify with and raise an emotional experience with your product. I've got an example up here, Play 30 Lines. This is a brand that Ainsworth created in 2008. They went to the trouble of lodging a trademark in both Australia and America for Play 30 Lines, Play 40 lines, Play 50 lines, Play 100 lines. And the very first time I saw this on a machine it was in DYRSL in Sydney, Australia, I'm thinking, does that mean I can't make anything with 30 lines on it? It had this sort of air of authority in the brand itself, but all they were doing was creating that air of authority artificially, I guess, to make it look like they own this space. They own 100 lines. They own 40 lines, 50 lines, 30 lines. So to me, that was a very good example of branding. Your branding can also include the UI, the buttons that the player uses. So if you're creating your own brand, you want to create the UI for your player so that it also breeds that familiarity in them for your next game as well. Now, math breeds engagement. I'm not talking about a random number generator. I'm talking about something that's far more seductive than that. It's what keeps the player engaged in the game, and you can quantify that with the math and the experience and the frequency of certain features and the way the game itself plays. Now, No Limit City do an excellent job with branding their math. They're high volatility. The players know exactly what they're getting every time they play a No Limit game. Plain Goes React Tunes was one of the first cluster games. That was a pure math model that was unseen anywhere else, and they virtually owned that space for a long time. Down the bottom you can't see it's Megabucks, which was an IGT product that was their first wide area land-based jackpot, and that was another level of math that was truly engaging in identifying their product. So I want to go back to a couple of specific issues where software breeds trust. Sorry you can't see all of these, but something as insignificant as real display can build trust in the player, and that's driven by the software. That the way the reels spin can tell a story, and if you've got a janky spin or you've got it just doesn't look right, or maybe, I mean, I've seen this before where there was a wild spinning past on reel 1 and there were no wilds on reel 1. Okay? The wilds appeared on 2, 3, 4. It never landed on 1, but yet you could see it spin by. That to me, that's a software issue, at the very most basic level, that is sure to blow the player's trust immediately. So we've got reel display, fast loading. If the game takes too long to load, I think you've got about 15 seconds and then you lose 30% of your players. By 25 seconds, you're probably losing 50% of your players. So the software has to be so tight, the delivery package and the back-end development of it needs to be so tight that the player will stick around to play your game. But responsive buttons down the bottom. You probably can't see that. It says responsive buttons. If the player is pressing a button, if they have to press a button twice to get the reels to spin, there's something wrong. Okay, so you need to spend a lot of time getting the software just right so that the game plays the way the player expects it to play. You can't have any glitch, any delay, or any surprising non-events in your software. Immersive user experience is still software driven, and data security as well. If the player doesn't trust the software platform you're on, or they don't trust you with their information, they're not going to stick around. Now, branding breeds familiarity. From everything you touch, absolutely every single thing you touch, you should be thinking about branding. How do I brand this? From pixel to post-production. So this is our Wicked Games red. So wherever you see our product, that goes down to 1 pixel, that particular red. Everything beyond the game, the way you portray your image in the public space, is all part of your brand. You need to think about every single aspect. The UI itself, your unique selling position, everything needs to be spot on, and it needs to be consistent and tell a story. But from widgets to win tunes, we have our branded win tunes, so that, I don't know if you played slots in Australia on the casino floor, but Aristocrat have branded their win tunes, and you can hear an Aristocrat jackpot go off, and everyone turns around and goes, "Oh yeah, I wish that was me." It's that branded win tune that Aristocrat do so well. Even they've got a game called More Chili, and you can hear across the pub floor, you go, "More chili," and everyone goes, "Yeah, I played that game. Yeah, that's good." So win tunes, your royals, your royals, your Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10, 9. You can personalise your royals on game-to-game basis, but there's also a lot of merit in branding your royals so that they're easily identifiable. So as I say, you should brand everything. Now, math breeds engagement. I want to talk about game flow. There's an author wrote a book called Flow. His name's Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. If I can write it out for you if you want to check it out later. I recommend, if you're in game design, you should read that book. It talks about, actually not all of it. There's only like about 2 pages that are critical from that. It talks about how a player will get into, or not even just a player, in real life, how you get into a flow and how you can stay in that flow. So as game designers, you want to create this flow, get the player into that flow and not have them not leave. And you do that with math. In that game flow, you've got this Goldilocks zone. So if the challenge is too hard, it becomes unplayable. If it's too easy, it becomes boring. So I used to work at House of Fun. It's an online social slot game company through Facebook. And I remember I was working there as a mathematician. Now, the RTP on those games is about 97%. But if you read the comments, just day-to-day comments, people are saying, can you ease it up? This is a free social slot. It's not Vegas. Why is it so tough? But the reality is, in Vegas, they can go down to 85% RTP, up to about 94. House of Fun, we're at 97% and getting all of this complaint. The problem is, you could make a game that returns 110%, and why not? Because it's social, it's free. But there are two problems with it. One, there's no monetization in it. But two, it's totally boring. If you're just sitting a game and every spin you win, and there's no money, no real money involved in it, the player won't stick around at all. You can give them a 110% game, they'll hate it. So you need that. You need a challenge, and you need obstacles, and you need a resolution in that. When I talk about I spoke about reel strips earlier. We do storytelling through our reel strips. So, time's up. I'm nearly finished. We do storytelling through our reel strips. So as the reels are spinning, we are engaging the player. Everything that we do is designed to engage the player. Near misses on the reels. If you give the player a near miss on a scatter every single spin, you lose their trust. You need to rely on the math to deliver the expected probability. So as an example, when you get two scatters and you get a wind-up on the third, you need a conversion ratio that gets from that point to the free games. So I like the conversion ratio of about 1 in 7 events will convert to free games. So if you've got a 140 hit rate, your wind-up should be 1 in every 20 spins, and then convert 1 in 7 to your 140 hit rate. I consider the math the heartbeat of the game. I just want to give you one example. All of these elements can interweave with each other. So if you're just talking about the reel spin alone, just one tiny little aspect of the reel spin, it uses software to get the reel spin right. It needs the bounce and everything needs to be absolutely right. The branding is how you might brand your scatter wind-up anticipation spin. And your math is delivering an experience that the player, it challenges the player, but and you would target the volatility of the game to this particular type of player. But it's all told. All of that can be told through the reel spin. So if you want to apply any of those three or all of those three elements to any part of your game, I think you will do very well in heading towards a more successful game. Thanks, everyone.